Imagine stepping into a world where human waste ruled the streets, rivers ran brown with filth, and disease was an invisible killer lurking in every corner. Picture crowded alleyways of medieval cities, fetid with sewage, where people had no choice but to relieve themselves in open pits or rivers, often under the watchful eyes of thieves, rats, and disease-carrying insects. Sounds horrifying. That was daily life for millions. Toilets, as we know them today, were once a luxury few could dream of, and hygiene was considered optional, sometimes even suspicious. The shocking truth is that human survival was once measured not just by food and shelter, but by how clean you could stay in a world without sanitation. Today, we flush and forget, but the history of hygiene is messy, dangerous, and full of surprises. Let's start over 4,000 years ago in the Indus Valley civilization, modern-day Pakistan and India. Archaeologists discovered advanced drainage systems in cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, complete with toilets that led to underground sewers. People had the foresight to build their homes over these drains, essentially creating some of the first known examples of indoor plumbing. The shocking part? These early toilets weren't just pits, they were stone seats over ceramic drainage channels, showing that ancient humans had far more sophisticated sanitation than many medieval Europeans would for centuries after. Meanwhile, in ancient Egypt, sanitation was a mix of ingenuity and unpleasantness. Royalty and the wealthy used ceramic containers and early toilets, sometimes even decorated for status. But the common people often relied on simple pits, or even the Nile itself, contaminating water sources and exposing communities to disease. And in Mesopotamia, the earliest city-states had clay pipes and drainage channels that carried waste to rivers. Yet shockingly, despite these innovations, most humans still had no concept of germs, and disease spread rapidly. Fast forward to ancient Rome, a civilization obsessed with order, engineering, and public health, at least for the privileged. Romans built public latrines, stone benches with holes spaced side by side, where people would sit literally shoulder to shoulder, using a sponge on a stick washed in salt water as primitive toilet paper. They even had flowing water underneath to carry waste away, a marvel of engineering called the Cloaca Maxima, one of the world's first major sewer systems. But here's the shocking truth. While Rome's elite enjoyed baths, plumbing, and sanitation, ordinary citizens faced overcrowded, unsanitary streets, and public toilets often became breeding grounds for disease. Ancient Romans knew hygiene mattered, yet their sewer systems were selectively beneficial, highlighting a striking contrast between privilege and poverty, something that echoes in urban centers even today. After the fall of Rome, much of Europe entered a period where sanitation regressed dramatically. Castles and towns dumped waste into streets or rivers. The shocking fact? In London, residents would literally throw human waste out of windows, sometimes hitting unsuspecting passers-by. Disease ran rampant. Cholera, dysentery, and bubonic plague thrived in these conditions. Cesspits, moats, and outhouses were common, but hygiene was poor, and even the wealthy struggled with foul smells, contamination, and infestations of rats and fleas. Medieval medicine offered bizarre cures, often using herbs, vinegar, or even urine as disinfectants. Public hygiene was more superstition than science, showing that human civilization could survive without sanitation, but only barely. The Renaissance brought new thinking, and one man would change the course of toilet history: Sir John Harington, godson of Queen Elizabeth I. In 1596, he invented a flush toilet, a water closet with a cistern designed to flush waste away. However, this invention was largely ignored by society. Most people continued to use chamber pots and throw waste onto streets, often at night, in what was euphemistically called night soil collection. Shockingly, in some cities, workers known as gong farmers would enter cesspits to clean human waste, manually, without modern protection, often working in darkness and filth. This was one of history's most dangerous jobs, carrying risk of infection, toxic gases, and physical injury. It would take centuries before sanitation became standard for the masses. The Industrial Revolution created crowded urban centers, and the consequences were dire. Cholera outbreaks killed tens of thousands in cities like London. Engineers like Joseph Bazalgette revolutionized sanitation by designing massive sewer networks, carrying waste away from homes and into rivers far downstream. The modern flush toilet finally became accessible to middle-class households. Ceramics replaced wood, cisterns became standard, and sewer connections improved hygiene dramatically. Yet shocking practices lingered. In some Victorian homes, toilet seats were separate for men and women, and public toilets often required payment, limiting access for the poor. Hygiene became a matter of class as well as technology, and awareness of germs, hand washing, and cleanliness slowly spread. Not all cultures followed a linear path. In Japan, for example, some villages had elaborate composting toilets and waste recycling systems long before the West adopted similar innovations. In medieval China, human waste was collected to fertilize crops, a shocking example of sustainability centuries before modern science. Even today, shocking numbers remain. Over 3.6 billion people lack safe sanitation worldwide, showing that the battle for hygiene is far from over. Toilets may seem mundane, but the journey from pits and chamber pots to flush toilets and modern plumbing is a story of survival, invention, and societal evolution. Today, toilets are high-tech, from automatic flushing systems to touchless designs, even toilets with self-cleaning and health monitoring capabilities. Innovations like waterless toilets and smart sanitation aim to address global hygiene challenges. The shocking reality: despite centuries of progress, poor sanitation still contributes to disease, death, and social inequality, reminding us that something as simple as a toilet is one of humanity's greatest inventions and life-saving tools. From the ancient pits of Mohenjo-Daro through the sophisticated latrines of Rome to the modern flush systems in your bathroom, the history of toilets is more than funny anecdotes. It's a story of human survival, ingenuity, and societal evolution. The next time you press that flush, remember, you are part of a legacy of millennia of innovation, struggle, and sometimes shocking realities, a testament to the lengths humanity has gone to stay clean, healthy, and alive.